Whether you feel it or not, narcissistic abuse can manifest in these 8 forms. Everyone, I need your attention right now. Due to cognitive dissonance and accompanying confusion, many victims of narcissistic abuse struggle to recognize the abuse for what it is. For today's video, we'll be covering this, and this is really significant. Find out how to deal with narcissistic abuse and find your own inner power. Thanks to modern communication, maybe everyone has encountered a narcissist. However, knowing that and experiencing it on your own is entirely different. This is exactly what this video is all about. Husband, lover, family member, neighbour, acquaintance, or anybody else could be at risk. Thus, it's important to know the indications. Let's take a look at the 8 signs of narcissistic abuse right now. Number 1. Your partnership isn't normal at all. You only normalize it. There's no genuine care or love. Conflicting interactions may hide well-known faces and the underlying problem. That's because a negative individual will never take responsibility for their actions, instead shifting the blame squarely in your direction. If someone has harmed you and they are unable to make amends, remember that as long as you are friends with them, they will likely continue to do so. They'll never own up to their wrongdoing, and will keep doing what we always have. There is no grey area between good and bad people. There is no way to change who they really are at their core. They lack the resources we possess to ensure our well-being, love, and contentment. You cannot alter their essential nature. Unfortunately, we can't give these folks what they need, a life filled with love, support, and purpose, because they don't have it. Second, you're always the one to clean up their mess. You might expect calamity to strike at any moment if you're dating a narcissist. It's common knowledge that narcissists have difficulties with empathy, accountability, and paying close enough attention to the details. They get ahead without giving much thought to the morality of their actions, since they are only concerned with satisfying their own egos and gaining public fame. It's likely that you'll lie, cover up, and even pay a fee for a loved one who commits this kind of behaviour. If we use a gardening analogy, while you are busy watering their back lawn to keep it green, your own lawn is getting thirsty and will soon die. It's typical of narcissists to behave this way with the responsible, level-headed people they've invited into their lives. The only way to recover and start over while taking responsibility for our actions is to get away from toxic situations. So let's move on to the next topic. Third, you have to put up with immaturity and change who you are to fit in. Narcissistic relationships are characterized by an exaggerated response to events that most people would brush off as unimportant. Because of their sense of entitlement, they want special treatment and become nasty when they don't get it. When did you last feel completely comfortable sharing your innermost thoughts and feelings with someone? But talking about the same thing with a narcissist might not be a good idea. Let me go into further detail. If they don't get their way, narcissists will always threaten to leave or even leave. A second time, you must go counter to your morals and principles to avert disaster. Fourth, you don't usually act this way, especially with your angry and squabbling outbursts. I can't stress the significance of this inquiry enough. You may ask yourself, is this really you? Generally speaking, how do you feel about this person? If you know that you have good listening skills, empathy, can keep conversations on topic, and get along with the vast majority of people, yet there's always that one person in your life who tends to bring out your worst, this may be why. This is the case whenever you experience an intrusion into your personal space. 5. You're making yourself dizzy with your endless, nonsensical, and circular arguments. When confronted, narcissists will accuse you of being disloyal, argue with you until you do something dishonourable, or make you feel as though you must constantly defend your honorable behavior. After all, if someone claims you lack integrity, love, and concern for others, are unfaithful, tell lies, put yourself first, or try to manipulate people for your personal advantage, you will be offended and will fight very hard to prove them mistaken. Narcissists could attempt to lure you into this deadly trap. Those who put an outsized emphasis on the opinions of others are more likely to engage in narcissistic conduct because they view their own morality, health, and security as dependent on the acts of others. Number 6. You're losing control of your boundaries. You are more likely to interact with a narcissist if your boundaries are porous. You know this person well. If you try to assert yourself or place limitations on their behavior, they respond negatively, often by criticizing, rejecting, leaving, or punishing you. Whether you realize it or not, you may be dealing with a narcissist. As a result, you try to lessen the emotional impact of the chaos in your mind. Having given up on trying to enforce your demands, you are now reduced to begging or pleading for your limits to be respected. The narcissist's inability to empathize or change will simply make your situation worse. Seventhly, at this point, dependency, disorientation, and madness have set in. Narcissists often develop destructive habits. Trauma bonding is another title for this phenomena. Do you feel compelled by desperation to reconnect with a narcissist, despite your knowledge that doing so would only result in further pain? Addiction to an individual who treats us badly may lead to a deep sense of shame. No amount of analysis can explain it. When we can no longer stop ourselves from doing things that will only cause more misery through logic, then the situation has reached a crisis point. This brings us to our last point. You clearly feel the signs of abuse in your body. The current situation is really worrying. The breakdown of one's physical body is frequently a symptom of one's emotional inner self trying to get one's attention without being heard. Possible effects include anxiety, depression, and more serious illnesses like fibromyalgia, adrenal difficulties, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and agoraphobia. After our emotional core has screamed for help for too long, and we haven't looked inward to heal, we eventually collapse physically. People with depression often lose enthusiasm for the things that used to bring them joy. You may continue to withdraw from the world, lie to others, cover up, and feel even more alone in your dreadful feelings and symptoms as the toxic person in your life consumes more and more of your energy and focus. We need to be asking ourselves this right now. What level of decline would we have to see before we paid attention? An oblivious, self-absorbed person can be anyone. Those with a diagnosable personality disorder are not the only ones who can be narcissistic. A relationship is unhealthy for both people involved when one or both partners do not value or respect the other's feelings and morals. Before trying to alter another person's behavior, we should pause and declare, "This is who I am, and what I require for us to continue." Many of our people have left, and if we continue, we risk losing even more. However, our best hope for survival is to escape. One way to achieve happiness, health, and genuine love is to go within and learn to accept and love oneself. How many of these warning flags are you already familiar with? What precautions will you take if it turns out to be the case? Feel free to ask any questions you may have about narcissistic abuse below. If you want to know more about narcissists, check out my previous videos. Best wishes for a wonderful day to you. When a narcissist feels you have hurt them, this is how they describe their pain. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for watching. If this is the first time you're here, this channel focuses on narcissists. First, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in today's discussion. It would be best if you lent a hand by liking this video if you think it's useful and informative. Ok, narcissists are harmed when they suffer narcissistic damage. Why do people do what they do? And how does it influence them in the long run? A variety of factors can cause narcissistic injuries. Results vary depending on the level at which you play. I'll also discuss the worst possible outcome for narcissists and how they will likely respond. Wounded ego and narcissistic wound describe emotional traumas that overcome narcissists' protective mechanisms and sever their pride and sense of self-worth. When someone attacks their false image or fake self, it's familiar. Depending on the severity of the injury, they may react in various ways. Even if the wound is large or tiny, there are few things they will always perform. When a narcissist suffers from a narcissistic injury, they tend to perform the following things. Fury and shame are two ways to cover up shame, and anger is two ways to cover up shame and anger. The narcissist is thus motivated to exact revenge on the subject. A narcissist will never truly forgive you even if they say they have. Because they can't, they refuse to forgive. That is why they will always want retaliation and find a method. The well-known smear campaign, which can be carried out on a small or large scale, is one of their preferred methods of punishing people. A narcissist can be pleasant to you, even if they've lied about you and propagated rumours about your character. I'm not talking about the smear campaign when I say there are narcissistic hurts that can cause the narcissist to go one step farther. On top of that, you can inflict much pain on a narcissist that they will never recover, to the point where all their hopes and aspirations for greatness are shattered in front of their eyes. When they realize who or what they are, they feel guilt wash over them. A narcissist can be pushed to the brink of insanity by a few factors. Narcissists are more likely to be hurt by these things, leaving them with the deepest wounds. Leaving narcissists alone, being exposed, and being insulted were the three topics I discussed in greater depth in this video. Furthermore, whoever used all three weapons simultaneously would have done the most harm. As a result, the narcissist will either run screaming from this individual, will become the object of their wrath and obsession. If it's the second scenario, you might be able to get the person who injured you to remove their mask by making eye contact with them. When a narcissistic injury of this magnitude occurs to a narcissist, it can drastically alter the life of both the victim and the person who caused the injury. The narcissist's activities will vary depending on how they feel at the time. If they are afraid, they may assume there is no way out. This usually doesn't last long if they give in to the pressure, recognize their mistakes, and ask for help. It's not uncommon for those who've experienced trauma to want to distance themselves from the experience as much as possible and pretend it never happened. In extreme cases, people may try to curse or hex the person they are enraged about, or even hire an assassin to kill them. Even though narcissists don't like getting their hands dirty, they would do anything if they could get someone else to do the dirty labour for them. Their most profound, most depraved self is exposed when they suffer narcissistic injuries of any kind. They may put on a victim's act, but that's only to mask their true intentions. For those that know what they're doing, you'll be able to tell something is wrong and see the level of hatred in their eyes. Many negative emotions arise when narcissistic damage occurs to a narcissist. Among the most overwhelming are dread, rage, hatred, and guilt. So, the narcissist has more nasty energy to work with. A narcissist will crumble under the weight of being ridiculed, exposed, and abandoned all at once. The harm done is irreparable, as with all narcissistic injuries. Their narcissistic wounds mount up over time, making them darker and more miserable. When they're around, they're a significant nuisance. Without retaliation, They're left to face significant suffering, which might drive them insane or enraged. There is no attempt to heal the scars of narcissism by the narcissist. Retaliation or denial is more likely, making it more difficult for them to mature. Please avoid narcissists as best as you can and let them self-destruct. I hope you find this information helpful. Tell me about the narcissist's reaction to being injured by you and how you dealt with it. The moment has come to say goodbye till the next video. I wish you the best of luck. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to receive notification when we upload new videos. Thank you. When narcissists shame you for not giving them another chance, this is how they catch you again. Here we go again, folks. All those who have arrived today, please accept my warmest greetings. My channel wouldn't exist without your support. For your thoughtful consideration, thank you. And if this is your first visit, for the sake of not missing any new videos, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on the notification bell. Let's begin right away. A narcissist will always ask for another chance, as I explain in today's video. But believe, as tempting as it may seem, you shouldn't give them another chance. A second chance isn't for everyone, especially manipulative people like narcissists. They don't deserve it at all. No one's feelings or wants are of any importance to a narcissist. If you ever offer a narcissist a second, third, fourth, or fifth chance, they'll take it gladly. They'd be excited with anticipation every time you brought them back. They take advantage of our goodwill for their own profit. This is what you should notice. They'll say and do anything they can to get you back. If you're thinking of re-entering a relationship with someone who has treated you badly, you need to examine your own character carefully. Today, I'm going through some reasons why people put up with a poor relationship, but then decide to give it another shot. I do really hope this isn't you. But, for the sake of knowledge, let us now consider how and why we could be drawn to or remain with self-centered individuals in our lives. In order to earn a second chance, you usually have to make amends with the person you offended. I mean very sincerely. However, narcissists cannot enjoy this luxury. They don't make amends, at least not sincerely. But still, narcissists have several grounds for gaining a second chance with their victims, and they're so good at it. Prior to delving into the tactics employed by narcissists to resurface, let's take stock of our own weaknesses. Firstly, fear is sadly the primary motivation for granting a second chance to a narcissist. Fear of being alone, or the inability to try another person with whom we share our lives with, or simply to brace for the uncertainties when alone, could be the primary reason for this. Several folks have told me that they are reluctant to let go of this poisonous person because they are afraid of being alone. Many people stay in harmful relationships because they are afraid they can't function well if they are alone. Consider whether or not you can identify the source of this dread, and whether or not it's a positive one. However, it's critical to keep in mind that closing certain doors is a prerequisite to opening others. So, sticking to someone or something that doesn't serve your best interests may result in a missed opportunity. Sometimes it's you who's missing out. Because you are so focused on getting someone else to love you, you don't have the self-love necessary to see that you deserve better. Discovering inner peace and love is the first step in overcoming anguish. Alas, a narcissist may be given a second chance because of this. Secondly, family members or friends that are close could be the trigger. It's possible they're trying to persuade you to go back to the narcissist in some way. We must remember that they haven't been a victim of the narcissist. So you need to focus on your own feelings and needs first, because they don't comprehend what you're going through. To please others, it's not uncommon for people to go against their rational judgment. Just because someone told you so, the narcissist begins to shine, and you decide to give them another chance. This is not how it works, because if you do, you're bound to be doomed. You are the only one who has the authority to decide whether or not to extend a second chance to another person. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense to others. Just follow your instinct. Third, the narcissist's victim still cares about the narcissist. As ugly as it sounds, this happened a lot. Because of their tendency to hold on to those they've wronged or deceived, narcissists can be difficult to deal with. This is a common occurrence in unhealthy romantic relationships. Unfortunately, this is what happens when the person who hurts you still has your heart. You have no choice but to return to them. Because of this, we must accept the reality that we may only be able to love certain people in a distant way. You don't even have to be with them to love them. If you offer them love and affection, it could lead to a worsening of their treatment of you. Because the narcissist feels they own you, and you won't be able to live without them. Accept that you can't change them, and love yourself enough not to put yourself in danger while you're trying to do so. The fourth and last reason, it's love. They say love is blind. For some people, the love they have for the narcissist can influence whether or not they'd give a narcissist another chance. And you can guess, most likely they'd accept the narcissist again. Just in case things have changed, you keep thinking of the positive aspect of the narcissist. No doubt, narcissists can always come back and say that they have changed for the better, but this is not even the problem. If you relate to this, I can assure you that the real issue is in you. While remaining in love with the narcissist, you are more likely to believe that the narcissist, no matter how brief the time has been spent together, has made major changes that will improve your relationship. Thinking fondly of the past while ignoring or downplaying the bad memories can lead to a recurrence of abusive behavior. With narcissists, there are bound to be a few positive memories to look back on. I believe so, even though it's all fabricated. They made you feel as though you were a part of their family and that they actually cared about your happiness. Memory resurfacing and the prospect of better recollections will stimulate revisiting these old ones. But to conclude, these are the four main reasons why the narcissist gets another opportunity despite their behavior. If you give a narcissist another chance, they will have another opportunity to hurt you. You won't benefit from a narcissist's return, since they are self-centered. If you're having trouble with any of these four concerns, it's better not to discuss them with anyone. You may have to cut ties with your family and friends who are pressing you to give the narcissist a chance. Any questions? Please don't hesitate to contact me. Don't hesitate to share your opinions and experiences in the comments box below. If you appreciate this information, please help to like and share this video. And please consider subscribing to this channel and pressing the bell icon below for future updates. Thank you. This is how a covert narcissist plays with words to get inside your mind. Covert narcissists are able to keep their condition a secret from those around them. However, covert narcissism can be as harmful as overt types of the disorder, despite being harder to identify. Identifying a covert narcissist is generally a breeze. They're the ones who work the room, making egotistical comments to others in an attempt to gain favour. This sort of conduct is frequently interpreted as a sign that the individual in question is uncaring and unsociable. Do we live amongst people who have exaggerated wants for praise and importance, but who are better able to blend in with the background? Yes, despite their apparent lack of narcissism, a close friend or family person could be one. First thing first, everyone, welcome to another episode. Alright, so let's discuss some of the more covert manifestations of narcissism in today's video. To be sure, many other people will also say many of these things. The trick is to anticipate when the narcissist will reveal this knowledge. Timing of remarks and actions is of the highest significance when dealing with covert narcissists. It's because the covert narcissist just cares about what's best for themselves. Getting you to buy their tricks is one of their main priorities. The false narrative they've been disseminating about themselves and what they stand for has even taken on the hallmarks of a marketing campaign, a con artist, or pretenders. Sure enough, narcissists are masters at self-promotion because life is like a show to them. The persona they've created for themselves is a product that needs to be sold. That means they are more inclined to offer irrelevant opinions. They may appear to be quite open with one another on the initial stage of the relationship. But know that the covert narcissist is just playing along with his or her strategy to deceive and then trap you. They believe that by making these claims, you will easily come over to their side. They like to present themselves as honest people. Someone who goes out of their way to reassure you that they are truthful or that they never lie is, nevertheless, a red sign. Those who are sincere don't need to say it. Indeed, it ought to be self-evident. In an effort to clear their name or make you feel awful for accusing them of wrongdoing, the covert narcissist is the one most likely to volunteer such information. Do you trust me enough to rely on me? Narcissists tend to blurt things like these out as though you've known them forever. They assume that by sharing this expectation with others, they will be seen as more trustworthy. If a narcissist has gained your trust, they will try to take advantage of you by pushing you to your boundaries, telling lies, and taking advantage of your good nature. One of the core beliefs of a narcissist is that everything should be done at their leisure. They develop an unhealthy obsession with their prey very quickly and are counting on you to develop the same feelings. As a result, the love bombing strategy has started, in which the target is subjected to an all-out, all-encompassing campaign to gain their adoration. Many covert narcissists make the hilarious claim that they can make their victims fall in love with them. Self-promotion is a major tool in their arsenal for this purpose. They present themselves as having all the best traits in everything they do. They promise their eternal love, loyalty, and devotion. They make many boasts about themselves and their abilities. Statements they believe will be met with approval by others. Because of this, narcissists do quite well on dating apps and websites. They are helpful in creating a stellar persona on the web. Aiming to sound like the perfect, loving spouse you've been looking for by using all the right buzzwords. Narcissists put up great marketing efforts both online and in person to convince you that they are who they say they are, while in reality they are not. Someone who is continually praising themselves, saying things like, "Trust me, I don't tell lies, I am genuinely kind, I give to charity," and so on, should be approached with caution. Be aware of them because all they seem interested in doing is promoting themselves by providing you with information. No sane person would feel compelled to verbalize such an idea. Instead, they would want to show it. This video hopefully shows that narcissists are experts at lying, even during the love bombing phase. What this means is that during the honeymoon period, it's not simply words but actions that demonstrate their commitment to one another. However, narcissists only play with words mostly. The unfortunate thing is that we may stop listening to our gut instincts, since they make us feel wonderful by stimulating all of our senses at once, though what a narcissist says or doesn't warrant any credence on our part. Therefore, it is important to follow our instincts and not second-guess ourselves. The fact that they may sound sweet even when warning you should raise red flags. Mostly due to the fact that they are extremely offensive yet sound like something a good person would say. They're unnecessary, so don't go out of your way to say that they are. Remember this, trust is not automatically given but must be earned. Don't believe someone just because you've met them briefly and they assure you they can be trusted. Narcissists are talented writers who may use their blogs to persuade you to do what they want. Few individuals understand the dangers of listening to a narcissist. Keep in mind, though, that this is how they normally succeed. Because they want you to have a favourable impression of them, they will tell you anything. We learned too late that many of the positive things they claimed about themselves, or the desirable traits they temporarily displayed, were, in fact, false. Narcissists are infamously dishonest, insensitive, and unreliable. But this is what we're made to believe. They try to sell themselves to us by making these claims. Someone who spends an abnormal amount of time pitching themselves is almost certainly trying to sell you on a fantasy. To rephrase, tread carefully. This is all I can say about today's video. Please share an example from your own life where a narcissist successfully pitched themselves to you in the comments below. In the end, I hope you're gaining something new. If you enjoy watching this, please consider sharing this video and giving it a thumbs up in advance. To that end, I sincerely hope you found this video to be enlightening. Please accept our deepest gratitude.